We have team coverage for you on this story. Casey Cronus at the courthouse in Waukegan, and Gabriella Primas is live in Highland Park with reaction. Let's begin with Casey Cronus from the courthouse.
Well, just as this trial was set to begin this morning, this bombshell decision was announced to the court. Attorneys for Robert Crimo III notified Judge Victoria Rossetti that Crimo was pleading guilty to all 69 counts. Counts 1 through 21, first-degree murder for killing 7 people, and counts 22 through 69, attempted first-degree murder for injuring 48 others on July 4th, 2022. There were some quiet gasps in the courtroom when the decision was announced, and we knew this was a possibility given the unpredictable nature of this defendant. Last June, Crimo was set to agree to a plea deal, but at the 11th hour changed his mind, forcing this trial. It was devastating for the families of the victims who were looking for closure at that time, and for months now, many of them have been anxiously awaiting this moment where they were scheduled to testify during the trial. We were set to hear opening arguments this morning, but after a couple of housekeeping matters, including dismissing one juror for an undisclosed reason, Crimo pleaded guilty. Here's what one community member has to say.
I think it's an important part of the process, and my hope coming into this was the jury would listen to all of the evidence and find him guilty of this horrible tragedy which he committed, and I'm just relieved that none of us have to go through that.
Crimo's parents were seated behind their son in the courtroom today. His mom had an outburst when his attorneys announced the plea change. She was told to remain quiet or be escorted out. She did speak to cameras as she left the courthouse when the proceeding was over, mentioning the cartel and federal court, frankly, not making a lot of sense. We also just heard from Highland Park Mayor Nancy Rotering and Lake County State's Attorney Eric Reinhardt.
This morning, the shooter in the Highland Park trial pled guilty to 21 counts of first-degree murder and 48 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Let me be clear. This was not a negotiation. This was not a deal. He made a free decision to plead guilty to every single count.
Today's guilty plea is an important step towards justice, but it does not erase the pain. We share our deep appreciation and admiration for Lake County State's Attorney Eric Reinhardt and his entire team for their tireless work to pursue justice on behalf of the Highland Park community.
And what is a relief to a lot of families today is knowing that Crimo will spend the rest of his life behind bars without the possibility of parole. His official sentencing date is scheduled for late April. It is there that some of the victims, if they wish to, can address the defendant directly. Reporting live from the Lake County Courthouse, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
Thank you, Casey. Gabriella Primas joining us from Highland Park with reaction from the community. Gabby?
Sylvia, we've heard from victims before and during this trial expressing how they hope they don't have to go through another emotional roller coaster. Well, after Crimo changed his plea, we did head straight to Highland Park to hear from residents who are still working to recover from the shooting. Now, many declined to talk to us on camera because of the emotional distress that they have relating to 2022. We did talk to Beth Damon, who is a Highland Park resident. She says this trial has already been difficult because her community is back on the news. Everyone is talking about the tragedy, and pictures and videos are circulating again. Damon said she and others feel the same way about the change in plea.
I'm very glad that he, admitted what he did. It was a terrible tragedy, and I think it'll save a lot of time and hardship during the trial.
I think it's going to take a long time for the community to get over this, as it would any place. But I think it will help in the long run. That he's not a threat anymore.
That was Sam Dannenberger. He works around the area. He says all eyes are on the trial. I also asked how they reacted to the dropped 48 counts of aggravated battery. Dannenberger said regardless of how many counts are there, Crimo will still be put behind bars. Now, you see, we're at the temporary memorial right now. You know, most of all, residents are remembering those who died. Names include Catherine Goldstein, Jacqueline Sundheim, Stephen Strauss, Nicholas Toledo Zaragoza, Eduardo Uvaldo, and Irina and Kevin McCarthy. Now, we know that the city of Highland Park, they are working to make a permanent memorial. They have meetings going on trying to get that worked out. But for now, that's reaction right now from Highland Park. Live, Gabriela Primus, Fox 32, Chicago.
All right, thank you, Gabby. There are still many lingering questions, including what comes next. Attorney Karen Conti joined us earlier today to talk about the next steps and if Crimo can flip his plea again.
There's no surprise here. He's going to jail the rest of his life. There's no question about it. The question is going to be, where is he going to be incarcerated and what and how close he is going to be to his family. So that pre-sentence report will be done at some point between now and April 21st. At the 21st, don't be surprised if the victims want to get on the stand and the survivors to talk about how this impacted their lives and what a loss it was for them and the community. And that might last a few days, and then the judge is going to give him a sentence, which we all know what it's going to be.
And during that pre-trial meeting before sentencing, the court will take into consideration Crimo's physical and mental well-being, along with a number of factors which could play into the sentencing.